Hi, Desert Heli here. Today I want to go over some of the tools and materials that I use for soldering and what they're used for. First and most important, I got my soldering iron. This one here is one that I got from is a 30-watt iron that I got from Walmart for under 10 bucks. I find that for 95% of what I do, it's more than adequate. Next is a package of fiberglass mat that I got out of the auto section of Walmart. I use it for cleaning the tip of my soldering iron. It's important to keep your tip clean so you can get the solder to stick to the tip where you want it to. Also notice that I only tore a small hole in the package. That's so when I'm handling it, I don't get a bunch of fiberglass splinters in my fingers. The next item I have is a pair of side cutters. I use these for cutting wire and stripping insulation off. Next I have a solder sucker. I use this for pulling excess solder off of circuit boards, but mainly through hole components. You put this on one side of the hole and the soldering iron on the other, and it sucks the solder right out, leaving the hole clean, so you can put new wires in. Here I got some speaker wire that I got from Radio Shack. It's real fine gauge. I use it like desoldering braid. You put a little bit of flux on it and heat it up and put it over a solder pad or whatever, and it takes the excess solder right off there. Mainly I use it for cleaning off the silver solder that comes from most factory soldered connections. So I can use some better solder on there. Here I have some rosin soldering flux that I got from Radio Shack. You put that on your wires and circuit boards where you want solder to flow and things to stick real good. It cleans everything up and leaves you with a nice shiny joint when you're done. Here's the solder I use. This is Kester brand 6040 solder. You really want to get a good leaded solder. You can use the silver stuff, but you'll never get a good joint with that stuff, especially with like fine wires and circuit boards. You need something that melts quick and leaves a nice shiny joint. Next I got some deoxide contact cleaner. This is the brand that my local electronics place carries, but Radio Shack carries a product similar called Deoxit. A lot of guys use it to clean the servos on the blade micros. I use it for not only cleaning servos, but cleaning corrosion and stuff off of contacts and just prepping stuff out. You know, you want your joint to be clean when you go to solder it up. Next is some denatured alcohol. Same thing kind of as the contact cleaner. I use it for cleaning. A lot of times I clean the flux off of the circuit boards and stuff after I'm done soldering it up. It's important, as always, it's important to keep stuff clean. And you can use it to clean bearings and all kinds of stuff. Use it, clean stuff up before you glue or solder or whatever. That way it's a lasting sort of thing. Next I have some clothespins. I use them just like an extra set of helping hands to hold connectors or wires or whatever. They work great. They're cheap. They're disposable. Obviously a hobby knife. Mainly used for just scraping and picking at stuff while I'm doing stuff. Here I got some Q-tips. I use those obviously for the cleaners or whatever. Let you get in there and clean corrosion, clean the flux out without tearing up the components, boards and whatnot. Here I got some toothpicks. I use those for applying flux where I want it. as well as scratching coatings and stuff off of circuit boards. They work great. You know, you don't end up tearing the components up or tearing the traces off using the wooden toothpicks. Also, sometimes if space is tight and I need to, or I have a really small component, I'll super glue the component to the end of the toothpick. That way I can hold it with one hand, and I have enough room to get the tip of the soldering iron into where I'm doing my work. And then after, you just break the Q-tip or break the toothpick off, and it's a done deal. And then finally, I got some heat shrink. Obviously, I use that for heat shrinking, you know, solder joints and wire and whatnot. But you know, there's a lot of good uses for the heat shrink just to have around. That's all for today. Stay tuned for my next video, in which I'll show you how to solder some stuff up and how I use this stuff.